Hi y'all, this is So Blessed. Welcome to the Blessed Place. How you doing?
Hello,
And this is
Danica from Frank and D's Life Hacks.
yes. Okay, so I wanted to talk to Danica about her move to Thailand, her stay in Thailand, and her return back to the Americas, and how long, what I'm going to ask you some questions as far as what made you decide to leave. What steps did you take? I know that's kind of involved, but you can give us a brief synopsis of what steps it took for you to get there, and some questions about your time there and your return. So let's just get started. So first of all, tell us why you decided to move to Thailand and when.
I decided probably about 5 or 6 months before I went to Thailand. So I went to Thailand, I would say in October of last year.
October 17th.
October 17th. And then, so I guess...
2019.
Yes. So what's 6 months before? And then, like April, I decided to go around April or May. And I decided Thailand in particular because I enjoy travel, and I had never gone on that side of the world. So I wanted to go on that side of the world, and I had done some research, and Thailand was just beautiful, and the food looked good, so I just wanted to go and see for myself.
So why is it that you wanted to travel? Why do you like travel?
Now that I don't know. I just love travel. I mean, I don't know what makes me so passionate about it, but I do know that what I enjoy about it, and what I enjoy about it is different cultures, different foods that you wouldn't ordinarily get here in the States. Either you have to seek it out to find it, and it's not always authentic. So I love being like a global citizen and meeting different people, and there's so many things over there that you just will not find over here. So in different places, like when I went to Colombia, or either when we go on vacations, you just see things that you wouldn't see every day in Sanford.
Exactly. And tell most people in the Blessed Place already know, but where did you go previous to Thailand, and how long previous to Thailand?
So in 2016, I made the decision to move to Colombia, South America.
I'm about to speak up because we're real life elements around here.
Yeah.
People cutting their yards and
waterfall.
There's a waterfall.
The wind's blowing.
Wind, bugs.
Right. So and birds chirping.
Yeah.
But I decided in 2016 to go to Colombia, South America, and before then I hadn't gone anywhere except for vacations. So I wasn't really sure how to get into it, but once I learned a few things from people online and Facebook groups, I decided to go ahead and just try it. So I went to Colombia, and I stayed there from February until September. So it was the very, very beginning of February until September that I stayed there.
In Villa de Leyva?
In Villa de Leyva, which is about 4 to 6 hours, depending on how you go, from Bogota.
Okay, so now back to how long did it take you to get to Thailand?
Okay, so from Orlando, it took 31 hours. And I flew from Orlando to... Did I go to San Francisco? I can't remember where I went. No, San Diego? I can't remember where I went. But I went from...
Was it Washington?
It was Wisconsin.
Okay.
So I went from Orlando to Wisconsin to South Korea, and then to Thailand. And it took 31 hours.
Okay. So when you first got to Thailand, did you already have somewhere to stay and somewhere to live when you got... Well, first let's back up and say, who went with you? Who took somebody very precious to me to Thailand?
Oh, Darica went.
My daughter, Darica.
Yes. And she had already told me from when she came to visit me in Colombia, like she stayed, 18 days or 14 days. She stayed for more than a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. And she loved it. We both loved the weather. The weather was just like this every day. It was so nice. And she said, next time you move, I'm coming with you. But at the time she was working like 3 jobs or 4, and she got
that Jamaican in her.
Yeah, So at the time she was like, nope. But I wish she had gone there.
She would have loved that.
Yeah, she would have loved it. But she decided, hey, when you're going to Thailand, let me know. And I was like, okay. But she came.
Okay, so you both get to Thailand. Did you have an apartment and all of that?
Nope.
So you just go to see. This is the thing that worried me. She's got my baby, and they go to Thailand. 31
I got her
hours,
baby, her 30-some-year-old
31 years away. Oh, 31 years away.
Right.
31 hours away, and they have no place to live.
Yeah, but there are apartments there.
Yeah.
So you're gonna find an apartment. Hopefully. The only thing I was nervous about was the language barrier, because at least in Colombia I knew a little bit of Spanish to get me by, or to say, necesita ayudar or something. I need a little help.
Ayúdame, por favor.
Right. So, but in Thai, I mean, I just had those couple of phrases, and that was it.
Okay. So first of all, most people know, but I don't like to always assume, because you have new, viewers. But why did you go to? I mean, I know besides the travel, what did you go to Thailand to do?
Oh, I went to teach English as a second language.
Okay.
And that's the same job that I held when I was in Colombia as well. And so, and in between the two, I taught English as a second language at home.
Exactly.
Online.
Exactly.
So I just, I enjoyed teaching adults. And when you go to another country, basically you teach in a public school or private school or something. So.
Okay. So you get there, you go through your training, and then you have to go search for an apartment. How did you come across an apartment?
Okay, so I worked with a company called Sign Education, SINE Education, and they were really good about having coordinators who help you in your placement city. So the first week that I was there, I didn't have to worry about it, because I stayed in a hotel, and I believe we paid for that hotel. We stayed in a hotel and some hostels. We moved like 3 times in a week. And we stayed in a hotel and a hostel when we first got there in Bangkok. After we left there, after the training was over, we went to our location, which for me was Rangsit. And it was a suburb kind of Bangkok. So it wasn't too far. It was only like an hour away. And once I got there, I stayed in another hostel. We stayed in another hostel. And we stayed there for just a few days. We planned to stay there for a couple of days until we could find an apartment. Well, the coordinator from my school, who actually would work with me every day thereafter, she met up with me and at a couple of places. She gave me a couple of places to look at. Well, I saw one and I latched onto that one. I'm pretty decisive when it comes to stuff like that. So when I saw the amenities, I said, okay, this is the place for me. So we went and saw it, and I loved it, and Darica loved it, and I really wanted it to be a place that she was going to enjoy, because she was going to be home more. So I wanted the place with the pool, even though I never get in a pool, really. I wanted a place with the gym, and I wanted a place that was very nice and clean for both of us.
And safe.
Safe and walkable area, because we wouldn't have vehicles, and it was very easy to get around there though.
Yeah. So when you all got, my heart and mind was more settled when you all found the location and videoed us, and we have a family chat, and they stayed in contact with us via family chat and videos. And when I saw where you all were living, which was a nice little 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, living room area, kitchen, all that, and so that was, my heart was, okay, they're good now. And then the location was, like so populated as far as different apartments, so many different apartments.
Yeah, we had apartments lettered A through G, and each apartment letter had letter A1 through 8. So we had A1 through A8 all the way to G1 through G8. And then on top of that, each one had 8 floors. So there were so many people just in that little area. I mean, in our area, we didn't have to leave for restaurants, laundry, shopping, groceries.
That's
we didn't have to
that's
leave.
what I loved about it.
So
that's what I loved about it for you all, and gave me a peace of mind as your sister and as Darica's mom. So you get there, you get settled. What's the first, I would say, maybe culture shock, or something that maybe you might have had some type of difficulty with?
The sights were beautiful, the smells were not. So sights and smells alone were just a bit overwhelming because everything was so huge. And you got huge buildings, and we come from the country, so we don't have a lot of skyscrapers. We do live near Orlando, but not in Orlando, so it's not like you're just living right next to a skyscraper or inside of one. And then also the smells, it was just so different, and you would be walking and you would smell something, be like, oh my gosh, that smells so good. What is that? And so it's like it smells so delicious one second, and the next second you're like, oh my God, what just happened? So the smells were the first thing that got me, because before I even moved into an apartment and had a chance to experience life there, I had experienced the smells there just from walking around,
And you all said the smells would come from the sewage, basically the sewage underneath.
It depends on where you were. Sometimes from the sewage, sometimes from standing water.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes from just things on the street or animals or something like that.
So, what did you like best about the country and being where you?
Hands down, the food.
The food. What is it about the food? What was it?
I like the flavors of it. I like heavily flavored food. I don't like people who are scared of seasoning, like put it in there or don't use it at all. And these people know how to season their food. And I love that. I also love that every single place you go to, it can be, a big restaurant or a smaller restaurant. It all felt like home cooking, You know how we have this restaurant called Fred's here? You know how at Fred's, it's like it's a restaurant and it's busy, but it's comfort food, and it's, that somebody back there is cooking in pots and pans, and that's how it was everywhere you went. Like you can go to a place that's a literal hole in the wall, like just a cutout in the wall, and they had delicious food. And you can go to a bigger, nicer restaurant, and the food is not necessarily better, but it's really good too, So the food was delicious.
So what was your impression about Thai people?
Okay, so here's the thing about Thai people. According to me, they seem really, really nice when you first meet them. And they smile a lot probably because they don't know what you're saying. And then the more you get to know them, you start recognizing the shade a little bit.
So Thai people can be a little shady?
Yeah, they can be a little shady. And they don't think they're being shady, so I don't think they're trying to do it. But
right.
like, I worked with a lot of Thai people. So for example, they would be like, oh, so nice. You only wear black?
So they picked up on that.
You know wear color. Okay. So nice though. It's okay. It's so nice anyway. And so I'm just like.
And Danica wears a lot of black, especially when she was in Thailand.
Over there, that's all I wore.
Yeah,
that's all I wore, and I wore the same thing over and over. But they are very into pomp and circumstance Thai people.
Just from the videos, they're so ostentatious. Just the malls are like
opulent.
Something
opulent. They just are really into pomp and circumstance. So you can be thinking that you're going to go into work that day and teach something because you got to teach, and they are more concerned with, let's get this parade together. We got to get this parade together, and the parade may be next week, but they're going to practice every day, and your kids might miss class like 3 days in a row because no, we got to practice for this parade. And then the parade, you find out later on, is just for the people in the school. Like, everybody is in the parade. Like, the whole school. Like, you're in the parade. You didn't even know about it. You're in the parade, and you're parading around. It's like, well, who are we parading for? There's nobody in the street. Like, we are...
Not like you're inviting the city to come watch the parade.
We are viewing the parade from the parade. We walked out of the school and back into the school, and we prepared for this for 3 days and missed class for this, But it's like, it's important to them, so right. you can't knock that. So.
Right. So, what would you say about the students, your teaching experience? Was there any difference between teaching in America, teaching in Villa de Leyva, teaching in Thailand?
Okay, so kids are kids no matter where they are around the world. They will get away with what they can get away with from what I have seen, right? But what our kids can get away with over here in America is a little bit different from what they can get away with while they're in Thailand. So they're similar in that they'll get away with what they can, but in Thailand they don't play that. So they're really super strict. And one Thai teacher told me that the reason why they're really, really strict about most things with these students is because they know that kids will push it to the limits. So if you make the limits like this instead of like this, then they're only pushing it to about right here, and it really doesn't matter. Like, they'll bring out their cell phones and do stuff that they're not supposed to do, or either they'll go to the bathroom and stay 10 minutes instead of 5 minutes, but they're not skipping class altogether, or they're not fighting. You never saw a fight. You never saw people yelling at each other. You never saw all that stuff.
You didn't see major incidents of drugs in the school, or the police having to come to the school, or fights in the school, or
And you didn't see major disrespect of the teachers. Now, they were disrespectful to the foreign teachers. I ain't gonna lie about that. They could be, but if you told the Thai teacher and the Thai teacher came and got them together, then they would be together for a few days. Like, oh, she will tell on us, you know. And
And from what I know, from what you said, it seems like the disrespect is a little different. Like, they're disrespected, like, say, for instance, maybe not paying attention or being a little rowdy. But not some of these videos that I've seen of total disrespect in America. I didn't hear you talk about, mention in that type of major disrespect.
And I never heard
hard
those
down,
instances.
cursing a teacher out or getting a teacher face or fighting a teacher, or
No.
Yeah.
Even the worst kid in class will be like, okay, teacher, thank you so much, as they're leaving class, and they come up to you and say, thank you, teacher, because they want to hear you talk to them, and they want to get to know you better. So I haven't seen anything like that. Now, I will say this though, I have never taught kids in America. So I can't say that, kids in America are worse or whatever. I can only say from what I've seen in TV, news, newspapers, videos.
Right.
I can only
and of course, those
that.
are only the worst of the worst for
Right,
viral
right.
reasons. Because I know we have some very, very
good
students and respectful. And it just a lot of times depends on what kind of teacher. Because, like, say Denise, the substitute, and and she gets her respect.
Yeah,
and
she
they like her.
Right. Now, I can say this though. The similarities, I would say the same thing about the kids in Colombia, as far as the type of disrespect they show, which is, not a huge deal. But Colombian students and Thai students, from what I see, they don't care anything about cheating. To them, it's not cheating. In America, it's like, no, that's plagiarism. Go back and try it again. Or you might even go to the principal's office or get in trouble or get a 0 or get suspended. And we take it very seriously here. In those countries, they do not care about that. And not only do they not care, the teachers don't care. They don't consider it plagiarism. Like, you will say, bring me your book. I need to grade your book. And they'll have another student's book in front of them saying, okay, teacher, one moment. And then they write and they show you both books like, I'm getting it done. And I'm like, that's the whole point. I'm checking your book to make sure you did your own work.
Right.
But
okay. So did you notice anything about Thai relationships, like how they relate to each other, whether it's an intimate relationship, like do they show the public displays of affection, or did you notice anything about the family dynamic, or did they seem to be warm towards each other? How we pay attention a lot of times to relationships.
At first glance, you would think that they're not very warm. You would think that they're not very, they don't really show PDA and things like that. Because I didn't see a whole lot of PDA at all between husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, maybe holding hands, maybe. But most times they walked side by side, and I remember this because I took notice of it. But if you really sit and people watch, you'll see that they do a lot of talking to each other, a lot of intimate conversations where they lean in and kind of chat with each other. And I also noticed that they do a lot of grooming of each other. The women groom other women, like their friends, and the men, they do the same thing to the other guys. So we'll be standing all outside waiting on some parade or some assembly to happen, and you'll see the teachers, they're talking to each other and they get intimate. I mean, like if something is under here, they getting that. They're like, oh, and then they'll turn you around and look at your butt and like brush you off and like, and then they're like, oh yes, like I like this, and they rub each other on the hips and the legs and the thighs and the butt. Like they get
Oh.
all up in there, and I'm just like, oh, okay. So I did definitely notice that, because I was like, my goodness, they just be all up on each other. And that's how the students are with each other. Like they'll sit in each other's laps and they'll hug each other. Like the students were very touchy-feely, almost too much.
Wow.
But the adults, the women would groom the women, the men would go and they'd be like brushing each other's shoulders off, like, oh yeah, I like this outfit, and they would do that kind of thing. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, let's see. Is there anything else that you? Well, maybe let me finish this out, and then at the end, if there's anything else you want to share with us about your experience. So you were there, and now tell us what brought you back, and your, well, what do they call it? Repatriation.
Yes.
How was your how was your repatriation back into America? So what brought you back?
What brought me back was I met a man.
Did you meet him in Thailand?
No, I met him before I left to go to Thailand, but I had already planned to go to Thailand, and I'm just like, no, gotta go and live out a dream. So I went to Thailand.
Right. So she met him. He was like, please don't go. She's like, I got to go live out my dream. I don't know you like that.
Right.
But anyway, so that's a whole nother video we'll get into about her relationship and all that. But make sure you subscribe to
Frank and D's
Life Hacks. But it's still under, they have to find you. I'll put a link, but they have to find you still under D Hill.
Yeah.
It's under DHILLE.
Yeah.
But I'll put a link. So anyways, so you met a man and what?
I met a man and went on to Thailand anyway. Came while we were talking and kind of falling in love and getting to know one another better. He asked me to come home early because I was supposed to stay there for a year. And I made the decision to go ahead and come home early. It was not the easiest decision to make, because even though it was easy to say yes to him, I took my niece with me, and I felt so bad saying, girl, I'm going home, girl. I felt so bad telling her that I was going to go home. But, I wanted to go home to him. And I told him, listen now, my man raised no fools. I ain't going home for no nothing.
Like, what am I coming home
what
to?
am I coming home to? What am I, what's going on with this before because we weren't even boyfriend and girlfriend when he asked me that. And then he was like, well, of course we're going to be together, blah, blah, blah. So I decided to go ahead and come home. So that's what brought me home. Repatriation was not even really a thing. Like Colombia, it was. I stayed there almost a year. It wasn't hard, but it was more difficult than coming back from Thailand. Thailand, I loved being in Colombia. Thailand, I didn't love being there so much, so I was gonna leave there anyway and go to Vietnam or go somewhere else and teach anyway after my term was over. So it was an easy decision to make to come on back home. Now with this COVID thing, I'm glad I did come on back home, because I would have hated to have gone somewhere else, set up shop, get an apartment, do all that stuff, find another job, and then find that I needed to come home. And with all of the, things that's going on right now, it's best to be in your own country, wherever that is. So it's not like it's a bad thing to be in Thailand. It's just that wherever your own country is, it's best to be there right now until this is all over. And then you can go back and do whatever you're going to do. So I'm glad I came home.
Yeah. And then when you came home, Darica decided she wanted to stay in Thailand.
Yeah.
And she stayed in Thailand weeks, or I don't know, a month or so after Danica came home. But only reason Darica came home is because she say I made her, but I strongly encouraged her when they were about to close the borders that she needs to come home. Mm-hmm. And if she decides not to, hey, I respect her choice, but baby, I can't get to you if something happened, and you can't get to me if something happened.
Yep, so she made the decision before a month, but she came home like a month later.
Yeah, so she came home about a month later. But when you came home, though, I remember the first week you were home, I know you had to get reacclimated to the total difference in time change.
Oh yeah, the time change was really difficult. The time change was hard going there, and I mean I was up like 3 o'clock.
12-hour difference.
12
yeah, 12-hour difference.
Between the 11 and 12-hour difference. Just our time changed twice since I was over there. So yeah, it was. My goodness, it was really difficult to have to worry about that. But besides that, my sleep patterns and stuff. I mean, I bowed so much that I found myself whenever I would be out and about in a proper setting like a store or something, saying thank you to somebody, I would be like, oh, okay, well, thank you, and then I would realize, oh no, you don't bow to them. So So that was the only thing that I found myself doing, and every now and then I found myself like still just bowing my head to say thank you or whatever. But besides that, no, I didn't have any issues, and I don't think I was there long enough. The only thing is I missed the food.
That's the only thing you miss right now.
Right. I missed American food. Don't get me wrong. I missed the food over here. So it's not like I would trade it. I would just like to bring some of that on home over here.
To be like, say, right now, if we wanted food, to just say, let's just walk right over here and get some food.
Yeah.
Rather
I
than
missed the convenience of it, too.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, you literally walk downstairs, you go up to the 7-Eleven, or you go up to, they call it 7, or you go to the market and you just grab some food, grab anything you want, vegetables.
Very inexpensive.
Super inexpensive.
A meal, just say a meal, a good hearty meal will cost you about how much USDA or USD? But USD.
Way too much food on your plate would cost you about $4 to $5.
$4 to $5,
and you would have leftovers and all that stuff. Now, a really good plate of food, where every single day I had to throw away food because it was too much food on my plate, cost me 83 cents at school.
83 cents.
But it's government subsidized food for the poor people and children and stuff. So they only cost like 83 cents or 25 baht.
Wow. Okay, so anything else you want to tell us about Thailand and your experience and anything?
I don't think so. I think that's basically it. I mean, it was nice while I was over there. It just wasn't for me.
Are you glad you had the experience?
I'm absolutely glad that I went. I'm glad that I had the experience. I'm glad I got it out of my system too, because I just had it stuck like in my mind. I gotta get to Thailand. Well, I went, been there, done that now, so I'm good on that, and I don't feel like I need to go back anytime soon.
And now that you're getting married in just a few days, your international travel long time is over.
Right.
I mean, as far as long time,
he said no more than 2 weeks.
Right,
at a time.
right. So
and I've only been here for what, not even a full week yet, and he already acted.
Yeah, she's here at my house, and he's like,
when you coming home? Hey, when you coming home? So yeah, I can't see a 2-week vacation even, but. If I told him if he don't want to go, though, he can't hinder me. If you don't want to praise, don't hinder me. That's right. If you don't want to go, don't hinder me.
All right, you guys. So hopefully you enjoyed that. And if you have any questions for Danica, just leave them in the comment section. And so maybe eventually she'll peruse the comment section and answer those questions. So have you traveled anywhere? Not lately, because we know hardly none of us traveled anywhere lately, but over the last year or two, where have you traveled, and what did you enjoy about that place, and where do you look for when they open outside, when outside reopen, where do you look forward to traveling to? I'm looking forward to our cruise in December, but hey, we don't know what that that will happen, but I am looking forward to it.
I don't like to set myself up for failure, so I'm not looking forward to traveling anywhere. I'm looking forward to one day at a time, and when this is all over, then I'll start thinking about it, making plans. But I'd be sad when I think about something and I really want to do it and can't do it. I'm like, oh no, I might as well just sit on here and enjoy quarantining.
That's true. All right, you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Love y'all. Y'all be blessed.
Be blessed.
Oh, we need a good screenshot.
Okay. Where my skis?
Oh wait. Bye, y'all.